Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. This was supposed to be a video where I drive this in here and tell you that I went to the MOT station and it went through without any problems. But it didn't, unfortunately. I'm not going to say I'm hugely surprised by that fact, because there's almost always something when I go to the MOT. But because the cars that I fix up often have a lot of problems and have been off the road for a long time, and also I'm master at missing small stuff. Like, for instance, one missing position lamp on the front. Blown bulb, most likely. I forgot to check that. I thought I checked all the lighting, but not that one apparently. And also the windscreen washer is not working right, and the windscreen wipers are not very good. Small things, but still they need to be all right for the MOT, and I just forgot. But that's unfortunately not the worst of it, because there is also an issue with the rear brakes. And that's a bit of a surprise, because I did check them, I did clean them up and all that, but there's something wrong on the left rear. It's currently have a braking difference in force of 61% on the rear axle. It's so much that you can actually feel it now that I know when I test the brakes. It is feelable in the rear slightly. It's very hard to feel imbalances on the rear axle, but this much it's quite easy to catch. I'm not sure what it is. There is brake propulsion valves on this car. They are located at the brake master. They could be sticking, but it also feels like it's a little bit off on the handbrake. So it could be oil or glazing on one of the brake pads. Who knows? So I might end up just changing brake pads and cylinders. But that is not the worst of the problems, because rust. And it shouldn't come as any surprise, because the Ascona and Opels from this generation got a really bad reputation for rust. They tend to just rot everywhere. Down at the MOT station, they were extremely impressed by this. It's just so clean, so rust-free, almost everywhere. They didn't find anything except one place that I actually also got quite a few comments about. At the floor pan, around where your foot sits, there is an area with 3 layers of metal meets, and they just tend to rust there. And I hadn't noticed it. Now that I've seen it, it's pretty obvious, but they found it underneath on the lift, and they could actually poke a screwdriver through at least the first layer. So that's a bit of a shame, but of course it just needs to be fixed. And lucky for me, the MOT man had fixed quite a few of these, and he told me that the easiest way is to go in from the top, i.e. remove the carpets, remove the seats and all that, and then just cut open a big hole, fix the plates, and then just closing it up again. So that's the approach that I'm going for, because when looking from underneath, it looks like a subframe off job, and that would be a bit of a bummer. So what I want to do is to just strip out the interior. And you know what? I'm gonna spare you that part and just remove all the seats and all that, and then take you back when we maybe can see something. Probably not, because the top layer could be just fine, but we're just gonna have to see. I'm gonna get to work. So I got the interior out, and I gotta say, it will never cease to amaze me how much rust can hide in plain sight sometimes. And that's probably not true either, because I have a tendency of using the Schrodinger's box philosophy when it comes to rust. If I haven't seen it, it's probably not there. But yeah, there's a quite clear telltale sign of rust underneath that I probably should have spotted. But to actually see the amount of rust, you had to know where to look. You had to know where to poke the screwdriver. And yeah, I didn't notice. But there is a lot of rust. Let me show you. Because it all started down here. You can see the rusty patch right there. This was visible, and I didn't really notice how bad it was. But underneath the brackets down there, it's bad. And then comes to this side over here, because I'm just going to try to shine a light up there and film. Because the thing is, this is a foam plastic kind of material that is supposed to sit like this, making everything look quite decent. The problem is, when you lift this up and away, you suddenly got some problems in there. They are visible from the inside. And this is classic Opel, I'm told. You guys also commented about it. And on the inside, it's suddenly, yeah, take a look at how nice the floor is overall. It is really clean in here. And then, this happens. And this is the foam or plastic material I just showed you from the outside, just from the inside. And there's a couple of layers that got issues right here. I need to cut this open at least down until here to actually see the rust down there. I probably should remove this, but I really hope not to have that I don't have to do that. So I think I'm gonna cut close to this edge and then open up, knowing that I will probably, or there is a high probability that I will end up having to remove this and cut the hole even bigger. But if I can fix what's there from this side, right here, and then do the same on the other side, it would be nice because it will save me a lot of time. This car is, we are trying to do it on a budget because it's not supposed to be a money pit. It's supposed to at least pay for itself once it's sold. And the price is climbing up. That's just the way it is. It's not a huge surprise, but someone has to pay. But I'm gonna clean up and then I'm gonna do this cut down here, something like that, and then take you back. Do you want to be a part of the horror show? I'm getting ready to lift up the first plate. I will have to cut deeper than this, I know. And I already now am concerned that I made the hole too small. The MOT man told me not to make it too small. That would just be a stupid mistake. But I think I already did that, but yeah, you live, you learn. There we go, there is rust definitely down here. I wonder if the next plate is the actual... Is this the floor or is it even lower than this? I don't know if it's a subframe I can feel down underneath. Because if it's just this, then it's not going to be too bad down here. I know there's up here also, but this isn't too bad. And I think I can get to it and fix it without too much of a worry. I did cut a little bit into the panel down here though, because I ended up cutting it right here, and that's just where the plates are sandwiched, and I didn't see that coming. I think I might have to open this up a little bit more than this. It's not a huge surprise though. I'll probably just open it up like this. Just to quote some music that I like to listen to in my youth, the shock and terror keeps me sane. Does anybody feel the same? I think a bit of it is, no matter how bad it is, it's always possible to fix, and that I think is good to have in your mind this time in history. So I think I am at the bottom of it now. There is still some surface corrosion that I can live with a overlap on the weld, because otherwise I would have to open up even more, but it's fine, it's good enough. As you can see, this is the lower structure. This I need to fix. Then I need to fix the next level, that's this one. That goes up and folds up right here, and then the top layer goes up to here, but also up here, of course. But I think I'm gonna focus on doing the lower part first, and then weld it together up here, because otherwise I think the fabrication will be too complicated. So I'm just going to focus on this down here. I think I'm going to clean up this just to know what I'm actually faced with later on. I'm very happy that the MOT man told me how he did it in the past, because I think I would have had a hard time really figuring out how to tackle this. I think I could have ended up putting the car on the Autovip and removing the subframe, front subframe, and actually be ending up not really being able to access it proper anyway. I think the proper way to fix this is from the inside, I think, unless you want to take the entire car apart. And I'm very lucky that I can work with this metal. It is, as you can see, pitted, but very thick still. Ideally, I should probably go all the way down here and maybe in here, but that would mean I would have to cut out open even more. And this is, I'm not going to say it's on a budget, but it's not completely limitless. Okay, I'm getting ready to weld in the first plate, and I want to fix this lower part to begin with. I cleaned up. I'm going for strong rather than pretty. That's my excuse for today. And I'm going for overlap, and that's also to give it some more strength. So this panel I want to put in here and weld in. There's not a lot of room to work on and clean up and all that, so it's something with welding and then hammering into place and making it fit. I painted the backside, so yeah, I think it'll be all right, this, in the end at least. So just a lot more of this and grinding. Not a lot of grinding, no reason for that. But I'm gonna cut a bit away over here just to make a bit more room to weld that part of it, because I just can't get to it. So we'll do that, and then hopefully soon I will be finished with that. I'm getting ready to put in the next layer. It's just a pretty basic shape. I just bended it. And this should fit with a little bit of an overlap right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld that in. So this is it. The big struggle is getting room to clean off the metal. Even though it looks to be quite open, it's very difficult to get the grinder in and clean up. But in the end it turned out all right, and I'm gonna give it some paint now. And then tomorrow it will get another layer before I close it all up. Then it will be good for many, many years. That's it. I'm gonna let that dry. So a couple of very thick layers of paint later, and a day later also. I'm getting ready to close this up using the old panels, what's left of them at least, and then create some repair panels up here afterwards. So I'm gonna begin to weld that in. So there we go. It's tacked in place at least. Also gonna weld in the lower piece right here. There we go. So I'm just gonna weld this up fully and then concentrate on the patch up there in the end. So see you in a bit. So there we go, the first part is in. I'm not gonna grind the welds because that don't matter, it's way below a lot of carpets. So I'm gonna paint the welds, and I want to seam seal them when the primer is dry, just to make sure that moisture doesn't get through here or into the welds primarily actually. So I'm just gonna let that dry for a bit. Dry, and then I can apply the seam sealer. It's quickly drying paint, this, luckily. And seam sealer. And while this was drying, I made up this panel, painted on the backside, ready to go in there somewhere. This that looks like rust is the foam material, by the way. But then I felt a slight burnout sensation in my body. And it's quite important when doing rust to sometimes step away take a break, do something else for a while, and then go back to it. Otherwise, you can start making mistakes or just lose the momentum. So I did that and went to the other side of the car and started doing the exact same. I have now cut away all the rusty bits from the lower part. There is still some up there. But I am getting ready to make a patch for this, the lower part of it. And then I need to make a patch for this that goes all the way out there. And then put the top plate back on. So yeah, it's getting there. And this is it. The plate is tacked in place. It needs to be fully welded and the spot welds need to be welded on. I also tacked in the repair panel over there. Don't worry, it's just surface rust on the repair panel. But unfortunately, I have to end the video right here. And that is because I wasn't planning on doing this. I really wasn't expecting this rust to be there. I went to the MOT and they found some holes and it turned out to be quite bad. It is the only rust that is serious on this car though, as far as I know. You never know what hides, but it is in really good condition. But this is not. I had hoped to be able to fix this today. I started late afternoon yesterday and now it's late afternoon today. And I'm unfortunately not finished yet. And the problem is that Monday morning, someone will come and help me change the windscreen on the Citroën XM. And also my parents' Fiat Panda is parked right outside with the exhaust that has fallen off. And I don't have room enough in my garage. And I don't want to rush this. So I want to paint it and I want to seam seal it and I want to respect the dry times and all that. Therefore, I'm going to abandon this today and then continue in a couple of days to fix the rest of it, fix the rear brake and the other minor stuff that made it fail the MOT, and then that's that. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more Opel Ascona, Citroën XM, Fiat Panda maybe even. Let's see. See you on the next one.